when the piece come in, it's in bad shape. You know, sometimes you got to fix a leg, you got to re-veneer it, and you got to rebuild it, put new pieces on it, and it's just like our life, you know. We got to rebuild everything. You know, once we've came through recovery or in recovery, it's not a instant overnight change, but it's an everyday process. And the thing about it is it becomes more valuable once something is restored. It has something else to offer, but after it becomes restored, you know, and it's just like our life, we have something to give back.
Wilbert Mason is just one more in a long line of people who have turned their lives around thanks in part to the O'Brien House. In fact, over 3,800 substance abusers have entered the O'Brien House since its inception back in 1971. The founder, Pat O'Brien, who was instrumental in bringing Alcoholics Anonymous to Louisiana, decided that Baton Rouge needed a place to shelter alcoholics. Today, the O'Brien House does much more than simply shelter. It educates, counsels, and structures lives.
I started off a little bit tooting cocaine. And you know, you think you can control, but it's an uncontrollable substance. And once you start, it escalates. In 1 year, I lost wife, business, and I think the last thing that you lose is your dignity and your self-respect. You stop and take a look at yourself, and you say, hey, I need a change in my life.
The O'Brien House provides a safe and healthy environment for former substance abusers to reclaim their lives and secure their future. The 6-month program consists of responsibilities, daily routines, numerous 12-step meetings, classes, and educational programs geared toward helping clients learn new life skills.
I found that it really helped me to structure my life back, to make my life manageable, to say, well, at this time I need to be doing this, and at this time I need to be doing that. Put some guidelines back in your life, you know, because you don't have no guidelines in your life when you're out there drugging, you know.
And that structure, coupled with unconditional love, helps clients to reclaim their lives. And for many clients, the unconditional love and compassion received here at the O'Brien House marks their first encounter with this emotion.
I never experienced love, even from my family before. And here these total strangers, you know, would come up and hug me, and it would almost be enough to make me want to cry, you know, because I never had that before. And why were all these people doing this, you know? I never understood that until I stayed around long enough to know that this was the thing to do. Compassion for your fellow man was enough to conquer anything. And that's all we ever wanted from our family or from anybody. But we somehow or another, or I somehow or another, felt like I wasn't never loved or cared for until I went there.
Although Mike's life was void of love from his father, he was blessed with ample amounts of imagination and creativity, something a high school teacher helped bring out with toothpicks.
I really found a peace about myself working with toothpicks that first time, and it was something that brought a lot of imagination to me.
But Mike's new creative outlet, toothpick sculpturing, took a back seat in his life as drugs and alcohol began to take top priority.
I had a problem coping with the death of my mom, and that was when I really first started doing drugs. My father wasn't always around, but then again, when he was around, he wouldn't be the father that I needed. He told me things like I would never amount to anything, I would never be nothing. I was stupid, I was foolish, you know, so on and so on. I can remember at some point in time I tried to commit suicide. And I went to the top of the bridge, and just as I was about to jump off, someone blew their horn and hollered at me, and just for that moment I came back to my senses. But I didn't jump. I threw my pipe over the bridge. I had no choice to try and seek some kind of help.
And like so many other clients who successfully complete the O'Brien House program and remain clean and sober, Mike was able to reclaim his role as a productive member of his family. in this case, a father.
I don't have to feel put down or shut in or feel neglected or those things that my father told me, you know. I don't have to feel those things, but I feel today I need to keep those things from my child. I'm doing things with him that my father never did with me. We fish together, we take care of each other. He still hugs me in the morning and at night, and we show each other love.
Me and my dad are very close together, and we do a lot of things together. We'll maybe just sit down and play my game, or he will show me how to do certain things. Like, he'll teach me a few things about him doing toothpicks and his life.
Michael Jr. understands the perils of drugs and alcohol, but way too many kids in our communities don't have recovering fathers to enlighten them. That's where the educational arm of the O'Brien House and its alumni come in.
I go to schools, speak to kids. I'm a part of the eye care program. I go around to the schools. I have done things at the YMCA with kids. I go to different churches and speak to the youth ministries at the churches. I occasionally, regularly go to the Salvation Army and speak over there.
Larry has been relaying his story to children and adults since he graduated from the O'Brien House back in 1992. And for a man who suffered from severe loneliness back in the midst of his substance abuse, he now says he barely has time for anything outside his family, his 12-step programs, his career, and carrying the message to children.
O'Brien House played a great part in saving my life, because the things, this is where I developed my hope at, man. You know, this is where I got back on track. You know, this is where I found love. You know, people who cared about me, you know, that didn't judge me, that understood me, you know, that gave me another opportunity to live again.